Although we have problems, limited naman yung problems natin, no? Unlike in medicine. And most of the problems that we encounter in practice are actually can be treated or managed by using drugs, no? So, ano ba yung, can you give me a problem? So, ano yung usual problem natin in dentistry? By the way, mamaya na lang yan. Can you identify these drugs? Do you still remember anong klaseng gamot to? Ako kasi, as I've said before, ako kasi it's easier for me to identify. Pag na-identify ko na yung drug, more or less, I know, no? Pag hindi ko kasi alam yung gamot, if I don't know the drug, I don't really, siyempre, you don't know it, no? Kaya nga, if I know yung gamot, at least alam ko how to explain. But if I don't know the drug, hindi ko I don't know what is it for, no? Anyway, so these are some of the drugs. Do you still remember? O mamaya na natin siya balikan? Okay, so dito muna tayo. Ano ba yung what are the usual problems that we encounter in dentistry? One is, of course, bleeding, no? So, although nowadays, hindi na masyado kasi sinusuture naman natin yung you suture your extraction, so less ang chances for bleeding. What drugs? Do you still remember what drugs do we use for bleeding? Yung ano the general, hindi Hemostan. Hemostan is one drug. It's a drug, it's a specific drug. Pero yung general classification, anong tawag sa what do we call drugs which can control bleeding? Anybody? Hindi na naalala? We call them hemostatics, di ba? Hemostan is an example of this that we use. Actually, even in medicine, if they need hemostatic, they use hemostan, no? So, tranexamic acid is the generic name. Now, it's also known as anti-hemorrhagic. It's also known as coagulants. Now, these are drugs which causes coagulation. Iba yung anticoagulant, di ba? Anticoagulant is prevents bleeding. It's a cardiovascular drug. Ang ginagamit natin are coagulants, no, or anti-hemorrhagic against hemorrhage, or known as hemostatics. What about infection? Anong ginagamit nyo pag infection? What do you call the drugs? I'm sure favorite nyo ang amoxicillin, co-amoxiclab, ano pa ba? So anong tawag natin dyan?
Antibiotics.
Antibiotics, very good. So we call them antimicrobial or antibiotics, no? Okay, but about for allergy, we use antihistamine or anti-allergy. The proper term is, yung pag sinabi mo kasing anti-allergy, more or less that's a layman term, no? For professionals, no, medical professionals, it's better to use the term antihistamine, against histamine. And then for pain, what do you use for pain? Biogesic, mefenamic acid. Anong general term for this?
Analgesic.
Analgesic, no? So we have analgesic, antipyretic, and anti-inflammatory. Antipyretic is against fever. Sabi ko nga, pag may anti, usually it means against. Pyretic is heat. Kaya nga pyrogenic, yung tawag dun sa, we call yung mga, yung firecrackers, di ba, they're called pyrogens, no, pyrogenic, kasi pyrogenic refers to heat. So antipyretic is against heat or against fever, no? And then for anxiety, another problem that we encounter in practice is takot yung patient, no, anxious, no, there's fear. What do you call what are the drugs that we can use? Actually, any drug which causes CNS depression, like minor tranquilizers, sedative hypnotics, no, usually pwede yan, no. Anything that will relax this CNS depressants are usually causes relaxation. So, nakakaantok, nakakaano yan, no? But unfortunately, minor tranquilizers, sedative hypnotics, these are drugs which require special license. So, hindi tayo pwede unless you have an S2 license. Ang pwede lang, no, is what we call the sedative antihistamine. Benadryl, diphenhydramine. So may mga antihistamine which can actually make you sleep. Like yung mga Decolgen, yung pang sa tawag dito, yung para sa colds, no? Usually ano yan nakakaantok. No, any drug which is known to cause CNS depression can actually be used to relax or to alleviate pain ng patient. Unfortunately, most of the CNS depressants are not within the jurisdiction ng dentist. Ang pwede lang tayo i-prescribe are the sedative antihistamine. Okay, so these are more or less the drugs that we use, no, for dentistry. So just like the analgesic, local anesthetic, we also use that in dentistry, and the main purpose of this is to alleviate pain. Magkaiba lang sila in terms of mechanism of action. Analgesic, if you're asked what are the drugs that you can use to relieve pain, you can use analgesic or you can use local anesthetic. What's the difference? The mechanism of action. And yung siyempre, 'di ba, yung administration, no? But ang tawag dito, when it comes to the reason why it is used to relieve pain, which occurs during dental procedures. Okay, so let's start with antimicrobial. No? The term antimicrobial refers to drug which prevents the growth or kill the bacteria as well as other microorganisms. Diba, when you say antimicrobial, against microorganisms, if you want to use specific terms, you can describe it as antibiotic. When you say antibiotic, para saan ang antibiotic? What type of infection? Pag biotic. Kasi pag antifungal, fungus, di ba? Pag antiviral, virus.
Bacteria.
So if you want to be specific, anong infection? What type of infection ang ginagamot ng antibiotic? Bacterial infection. So, antibiotic is good for bacterial infection. Hindi siya maganda for fungal. So, kung gusto mong mas specific, no, the type antibiotic is used for bacterial infection. And then you have other terms of anti-infective, no, anti-TB, anti-what, no? So, depending on the type of infection that is causing the problem. Okay. So, 1941 is considered as the golden age of antibiotic. Kasi if you remember the history before 1941, yung chicken pox, all the viral yan, no? Ano ba yung mga daming sakit, there were so many diseases which actually walang cure, no? But with the advent ng antibiotic, so a lot of diseases medyo na eliminate na, no? Kaya nga ang problema now is antibiotics, sabi nga nila, it's one of the most abused, misused, and overused drugs. Before, you can buy amoxicillin without a prescription. Hindi ba amoxicillin sometimes available sa tindahan, sa sari-sari store? But with the misuse ng antibiotic, nagkigpit na You need to have a prescription to be able to buy antibiotic. Kasi nga, misuse siya, overuse, abuse, no? Okay. And for a drug to be considered as antibiotic, the drug must come from bacteria itself. Yun lang, weaker strain ng bacteria. Do you know that penicillin comes from molds? Yung blue molds that you see sa bread. That's the best source ng antibiotic, ng penicillin. So actually, for a drug to be considered as an antibiotic, it must come from the bacteria itself. Weaker strain nga lang. And the other type of antibiotic, we call them synthetic antibacterial agents. No? Example of this is sulfonamides and quinolones. Have you heard of ciprofloxacin? Narinig nyo na yon, ciprofloxacin. It's a quinolone. Ibang group of antibiotic. No? They are synthetic. Although most of our drugs are synthetic, biosynthetic. Like amoxicillin, it's a biosynthetic derivative of penicillin. So under siya sa penicillin. Yun lang, hindi siya, it's actually synthetic drugs. Diba? When we say synthetic, these are drugs which come from the laboratory. And they are supposed to function like the real antibiotic. Masyadong mahal kasi pag natural, di ba? So, para maging antibiotic, kailangan galing siya sa weaker strain ng bacteria. Okay. And the other type of antibiotic are what they call synthetic antibacterial agent. Okay. So when do we use antibiotic in dentistry? We use it for prophylactic before, no? And very common use ng prophylactic use ng antibiotic is prevention ng SBE, subacute bacterial endocarditis, di ba? Before you do extraction or any procedure that might cause bleeding sa patient, kung risky o may risk ng SBE ang patient, before you do any of the procedure, you have to give antibiotic first, no? And this is called prophylactic. And it can also, you use it for therapeutic. So they can be used for prophylactic as well as for therapeutic indications. I think clear naman yan siya. Okay, no? So briefly, ano ba ang infection? Di ba, mere presence of the microorganism does not constitute infection. Para maging infection, there must be invasion of the body by pathogenic microorganisms. And as we mentioned last time, di ba, sabi nila, the mouth is actually very dirty kasi ang daming pathogenic microorganism. But how come we don't have infection? Kasi hindi naman siya invasion. And yung natural flora, the different microorganism, di ba, that is present in the mouth helps control the growth of the other pathogenic microorganism. Kaya nga kapag nasira or there's something happens to disrupt the natural environment, the usual environment, no, nag-a-allow yan ng it allows the other pathogenic microorganisms that is present in the mouth to proliferate. Kaya ka nagkakaroon ng fungal infection. And most of the time, it's fungal. Kaya nga, most of the time, kapag too much antibiotic, usually it causes superinfection, and most superinfection, the type of superinfection is fungal. You've heard of Candida, diba? That's the most common fungal infection that we experience in dentistry, candidiasis or thrush mouth. Okay? So kailangan may invasion daw before you can consider it as infection. Okay. And to determine, there are 3 factors that will determine kung magkaka-infection or not. One is the pathogenicity. Clear naman yan, di ba? Pathogenicity refers to how big is the chances that the microorganism will cause the infection. Mas pathogenic, mas malaki ang risk of infection. Another is the number of the organism. Even if it's pathogenic, but if it's not enough, ang body naman, the body has the natural defense. Kaya tayo may WBC eh. Kaya di ba ang doctors, pag nag-blood test ka, pag mataas ang WBC mo, nasabihin sa iyo ng doctor, there must be an infection somewhere. Kasi what is causing the increase in the WBC, no? Di ba ang tawag nyo nga sa WBC, these are the soldiers to fight. And most of the time, if the number is controlled, the number of the pathogens is controlled, you don't really need, the body has enough immunity to cure the condition. Antibiotic is not a cure, it's just a help. That is why, di ba, antimicrobial, you don't have to kill, no, di ba? Only prevents the growth. It can you don't really most of the drugs that we use in dentistry does not really kill. It only prevents the growth. And if limited yung number ng microorganisms, kaya na ng body. The body can actually fight the infection. Diba? And the third is host resistance. No? Kaya nga, I think clear naman yan. No? Importante yung resistensya mo. Kahit na inom ka ng antibiotic, you don't eat properly, you don't sleep properly, then chances are, sino ba yung mga nagko-COVID, di ba? Kaya nga may sinasabi silang, tawag nun, susceptible population, no? So, kasi nga, kung mataas naman yung resistensya mo. And it's much better to build your resistance rather than take antibiotic. Okay, clear? Any questions? Okay. No? So ideally, this is what we want to look for an antibiotic. Pero sabi nga, there's no such thing as ideal. Okay? So hopefully, o sana, no, it be selective and effective without injury to the host. I think that's clear. Okay? It should be bactericidal. Anong difference ng cidal with static? Bacteriostatic. Pag cidal, it's capable of killing, di ba? When you say it's bacteriostatic, it only prevents the growth of the microorganisms. Ideally, it should be cidal. But sabi, no, for dentistry, since ang dosage natin hindi naman, and the type of infection that we experience in dentistry is not, it's not life-threatening. So most of the time, the use of antibiotic in dentistry is only static lang daw siya. Plus, we don't use you only give it oral, you only give it 500 milligram, we don't give too high the dosage. Kasi nga, hindi naman nga kailangan mamatay, di ba? Pwede namang just prevent the growth of the microorganisms. But ideally, it should be cidal. Okay, it should not develop resistance. Ano yung resistance? Bacterial resistance. This is the ability of the bacteria not to be affected by the drug or by the antibiotic. Sa tao, we call it, kung wala nang effect yung gamot sa'yo, you call it tolerance. You've developed tolerance. Actually, mali yung term that you use. Ay, may resistance na ako sa penicillin. It's not the proper term. The proper term to use is tolerance. If a drug does not have any more effect on your body because you're so used to it, the proper term is tolerance. Resistance is the ability of the bacteria not to be affected by the antibiotic or by the drug, no? Ang sa disease, anong tawag natin? Pag hindi ka na you develop, anong nadi-develop natin kapag ang tawag dito, hindi ka na magkakasakit ulit. We develop what? We develop immunity. You get immunity to the disease. You don't get tolerant to the disease. You don't hindi tama yung term, no? So pag tinasabi natin na hindi na ako nag-expose na ako so hindi na ako mag-chickenpox, that's immunity. Ang bacteria hindi nagde-develop ng immunity, they develop resistance. Okay, clear? Kasi sometimes mali yung mga terms that we use hindi naman sa mali. It's not that we're not using the proper terms. Okay? Mabilis ba ako? Okay lang? Hello?
Okay lang po.
Sige, sabihin niyo lang kung mabilis ha. Okay. We have different types of resistance just like in immunity. Diba? We have natural, it can be natural. Natural means by nature. Ano yung joke niyo? I wake up like this, no? Naturally, I am naturally pretty, di ba? Talagang by nature, no? So kahit na anong gawin natin, resistant siya na yung bacteria. And an example of this is your Staphylococcus aureus. Why is penicillin not or not effective against Staphylococcus aureus. Ano yung, do you remember what disease or what infection is caused by Staphylococcus aureus? Sometimes, di ba, common yan sa dentistry? No? Cellulitis, di ba? So, pag cellulitis ang condition, usually, ang penicillin hindi pwede. Hindi siya effective. Because Staphylococcus aureus has a natural resistance to penicillin. Madi-destroy lang because yung Staphylococcus aureus bacteria, actually, meron siyang enzyme, which is called penicillinase. And this enzyme destroys penicillin. Kaya pag cellulitis, ang ginagamit nyo, clindamycin. Kasi hindi pwede ang penicillin. Useless because meron siyang natural, by nature, pinanganak yung bacteria na meron ng penicillinase. And penicillinase just destroy penicillin. So useless ang penicillin. And the drug of choice, di ba, for cellulitis is clindamycin. Okay? Pwede rin siyang acquired or developed. Now, this is just like immunity, di ba? Upon exposure to the disease, nagde-develop tayo ng immunity. Right ngayon, usong-uso ang chickenpox, no? So, usually, tinatanong mo, nag-chickenpox ka na ba? Kasi nga, ang daming may chickenpox. Okay? So ang maganda lang with viral infection is once, di ba, once you get exposed, usually we develop immunity. Ganon din sa bacteria. So once the bacteria is exposed to the drug, minsan nagde-develop siya ng resistance, or what is called acquired or develop resistance. And that is the problem na indiscriminate ang gamit ng antibiotic. Most antibiotic has the ability to develop resistance. Kaya nga, just like COVID, no? Di ka daw nagde-develop ng immunity sa COVID. Sabi nila, no? Yun yung problema natin, di ba? Iinom yung patient ng antibiotic, 2-3 araw lang, tapos hindi tatapusin yung dose. Wala na daw, pag tinanong mo bakit, kasi wala na daw pain, wala na daw hindi na maga, tawag dito, hindi na itutuloy, no? So ang danger niyan is ine-expose mo lang yung bacteria. Pag naka-recover ang bacteria, mas matapang pa yan kaysa sa susunod. Kaya kung minsan di ka na nakakagamit ng ibang gamot kasi nga nagde-develop ang bacteria ng resistance. And that's the problem. Aside from that, yung especially kung gumagamit ng penicillin, no, baka magkaroon ng hypersensitivity reaction. Sanay na kasi na ganun yung body. No? So kung minsan nagde-develop siya ng hypersensitivity, lalo na kung hindi tinatapos yung dosage. Diba? Daming pasyenteng gano'n, di ba? Pag wala na, sabihin mo, inom ka ng 7 days, ha? Iinom lang ng 2-3 araw, tapos, no? Pag after a while, babalik na naman yan, no? So, hindi magandang treatment. Not a very good management. Okay? So, the best management pa rin, di ba, is to remove the cause. If what is causing the inflammation or the infection is a badly carious tooth, what's the best treatment? Itanggalin mo na lang. Kasi bigay ka ng antibiotic. Okay? And then the third type of resistance is called cross. Sa pharma kasi, anything which is called cross sensitivity, cross resistance, no? Pag sinabi mong cross, this occurs between similar drugs. So if the bacteria is resistant to penicillinase. Since penicillin is similar to cephalosporin, baka hindi rin maganda ang cephalosporin. Baka resistant din yung bacteria sa cephalosporin. Kung ang patient allergic sa penicillin, although cephalosporin is the same, almost the same, or similar to penicillin, basically pareho sila. hindi pa rin siya magandang substitute. Kasi nga, baka sensitive din yung patient. Kasi merong tinatawag na cross. Clear? Kaya nga kapag allergic ang patient o resistant ang patient sa penicillin, hindi cephalosporin ang ginagamit. Kasi merong cross resistance, merong cross sensitivity. Okay. So this, I think this is clear. Should not be inactivated by enzymes or body fluid. So, kaya nga ang Staphylococcus aureus, di ba? No? And then you have minimal adverse effect. No? Lahat naman ng gamot may adverse effect. It's up to us to maximize the therapeutic and minimize the adverse. Clear naman ano yung adverse effects, right? So, ano ba yung mga adverse effect that we've discussed last time? Can be toxic, it can be allergic, it can be idiosyncrasy, or it can be supra-infection. Okay. No? So, sabi ni Goodman and Gilman, the dose of the drug should be sufficient to produce the necessary effect to the microorganism or on the microorganism. If the concentration of the drug is below what is considered to be toxic, then the bacteria is said to be susceptible. If the concentration required to prevent the growth or kill the bacteria is more than what is considered to be safe, then the bacteria is said to be resistant. I think that this is clear, right? Questions po? Okay. So, when an antimicrobial agent is indicated, ano yung goal natin? Choose the drug that is selectively active for most of the microorganism and has the least potential to cause toxicity or allergic reaction to the individual being treated. I think clear naman yan, right? Sabi nga, you use, di ba parang sa anesthesia, you use the lowest dose of the most or the safest drugs that we use. Kasi alam natin, no? The higher the dose, the more ang possibility ng adverse effect. So, when we choose medicine, we try to choose the most effective, the least amount, and what, no? The safest drugs that you can use. So, yan yung kino-consider natin when we give medication, di ba? Okay. No? So, when do we use antibiotic? One is kapag infection is generally present, proven beyond doubt na merong infection. And how do we know that there is infection? Paano nyo nalalaman may infection? Anong tinitignan nyo? Paano nyo nalalaman may infection? You look for what?
Swelling.
You look for swelling, you look for pain, you look for what? Tenderness, redness. Anong tawag nyo dyan? What do you call them? Di ba meron tayong tinatawag na ano yung cardinal signs and symptoms of infection, di ba? General malaise, no? So you have fever, you have what? You have pain, tenderness, swelling, no? And for most dental infection, usually pus related, may nana. Di ba? Ang infection natin, most of the time, may nana. So if those symptoms are present, then by all means, you give antibiotic. But remember, antibiotic is not the cure. It just helps the body control. It's still the body who treats or who that eliminates the infection. Tulong lang ang antibiotic. Kaya nga, sinasabi nila ngayon na don't rely too much on antibiotic. Okay? And ano lang ha, please lang, no, a lot of patients kasi mistake, no, yung paki-orient lang yung patients kasi kung minsan napagkakamali ng patient, syempre wala naman silang medicalist, wala silang medical background, no? Sabi sa doc, I took mefenamic, no? Or sasabihin sa'yo, ay doc, masakit eh, nag-amoxicillin ako eh. Paki-correct lang yung patient. Hindi po, amoxicillin is not for pain. Mefenamic is not for infection. Although ang mefenamic may anti-inflammatory. Kaya nawawala yung maga. Okay? So, pag may mga ganon, i-correct nyo lang para na natututo din yung patient. Okay, so if the signs and symptoms, anong difference ng sign and symptoms? Alam niyo naman yan, di ba? Pag sign, what's the difference between sign and symptom? Sign, nakikita natin, di ba? Symptom, subjective, no? It's the patient who feels. Like pain, ano pa? At fever, kita natin yan, no? So, pag sinabi mong symptom, it's subjective. Pag sinabi mong signs, usually nagmamanifest ang sign. Okay, so if the signs and symptoms are present, then by all means, give antibiotic. Another is the infection is likely to respond to the antibiotic. Kasi maraming class, there's so many infection, right? So it can be fungal, it can be viral. Do you know that stomatitis? You know what stomatitis, di ba? Yung maraming singaw, it can be bacterial, it can be fungal, it can even be viral. Like herpes, viral siya. So how do we know kung fungal yan? No? Candidiasis is, anong sign ng candidiasis? Di ba singaw? But it's fungal. How do you know? Baka lang bigay ka ng antibiotic, hindi ang tawag dito, hindi nag-reverse yung singaw, hindi nag-heal yung singaw. Baka naman kasi hindi yan bacterial. It might be fungal. It might be viral. So what's the best way of finding out kung ano siya? What is the type of infection? We do what? You do culture, di ba? Nagko-culture. And usually, culture test will determine. Kaya yung mga even in medicine, pag hindi yung bigay ng gamot, di naman usually sasabihin sila, i-culture na lang natin yan para at least identified kung ano talaga ang causing the infection. Kinu-culture siya. Although it's a little expensive, no? And then, after culturing, usually we do sensitivity test. And one sensitivity test that they do after culturing to find out, no? To find out what is the cause of the infection. Tapos sinusurround, ni-expose nila yan yung bacteria to different types of antibiotic, different types of antimicrobial, kung saan, where the bacteria has the least growth or walang namatay yung bacteria or at least pinaka-konti ang growth ng bacteria after culturing and exposing it to the medication, then that's the best medication to use for the case. So pinakamaganda talaga to find out, to be able to determine ano yung cause of the infection and what is the best drug, best medication is to do a culture sensitivity test. Okay? Another indication, it is severe enough to warrant treatment. So kung konting magalang, gano'n, no? So baka naman hindi na kailangan ng antibiotic. If you don't need antibiotic, don't give antibiotic. Don't make it a standard that every time, di ba kaya nga ngayon, di ba hindi naman lahat ng binubunutan, nagbibigay ka ng antibiotic. So it would still be determined based on the host resistance. So kung may risk, then by all means. Okay? And antibiotic is the best form of treatment. No? And for, di ba, sabi ko nga, most infection, dental infection is pus. You know it's infected kasi may pus. And the best form of treatment for pus is drainage, not antibiotic. And sabi, extraction, removal of the cause. Anong ginagawa nyo sa pigsa? Di ba, pigsa is pus. What do you normally do sa pigsa? You drain. No? Pinakamagandang form of treatment for pus is drainage. Hindi antibiotic. Okay? Questions po? Okay. No? So, we can classify antibiotic or antimicrobial based on several factors. One is the type of action. It could either be cidal or static. If you're talking of fungal, di ba, you have the term fungistatic, fungicidal. Pareho lang naman yun. If it's viral, virus, it's called virulostatic tsaka virulocidal. So depending lang on the bacteria, depending on the microorganism. Since bacterial tayo, most of our infections are bacterial infections. So we call it bactericidal or bacteriostatic. Ideally, cidal. Pero most of the time, static lang daw tayo. Okay, another way of classifying antimicrobials is based on the mechanism of action. And antibiotic has several mechanisms of action. You know what makes the bacteria, what makes the microorganism unique? Kasi the microorganism has a cell membrane. Just like us, just like human, di ba? We have cell membrane. And the bacteria is capable of developing a cell wall. Di ba plants have cell wall? They don't have membranes. Wala silang cell membrane. Di ba ang meron sila cell wall? Ang animals, what we have is a cell membrane. We don't have a cell wall. The bacteria is unique. Because the bacteria, kaya nga tatlo yung kingdom, di ba? Yung animal kingdom, plant kingdom, and then the third is the microorganisms. Kasi iba sila eh. They actually have a cell membrane, but they are capable of forming a cell wall. Ang virus nga daw, kaya ang hirap patayin ng virus kasi meron pa silang capsule, no? Ang dami lang protective layer. Kaya ang hirap daw patayin ang virus. So, ang bacteria, although they have a cell membrane, they are capable of developing a cell wall. So, some antibiotic acts on the cell wall. Some drugs act on the cell membrane. Other antibiotics can act on the protein synthesis kasi importante sa bacteria ang protein for yung multiplication, growth usually. No? And then it could be competitive antagonism, and it could also affect yung nucleic acid synthesis. So these are the mechanism of action. So one way of classifying antibiotic is based on the mechanism of action. Anong branch ng pharmacology ang mechanism of action? Dynamics. Okay, so these are the drugs or the antibiotic or antimicrobials that acts on the cell wall. So penicillin, vancomycin, cephalosporin, xyloserine, and bacitracin. So cell wall sila. Kaya nga if the condition hindi pwede ang penicillin, hindi recommended ang cephalosporin. Kasi they belong, basically, they have the same mechanism of action. Okay. Ano ha, for most, up to now, for most dental infection, yung usual na dental infection, still ang drug of choice is penicillin. Amoxicillin belongs to the penicillin group. Okay. So those that act on cell membrane permeability, so you have the antifungal and the polymyxin. So iba-iba sila ng mechanism of action. And then those that interferes with protein synthesis, dalawa ang protein synthesis. One is the 30S subunit and the 50S subunits. We'll discuss that later. So like tetracycline is 30S subunit. Erythromycin is 50S subunit. So pareho silang protein synthesis but they differ in terms of no? Kaya nga yung magbo-board, titignan nyo kung 30 ba siya o 50 ba siya. Kasi kuminsan tinatanong yan sa board exam. So although pareho silang protein synthesis, different in terms of the subunits. Okay. So most of this alam naman natin no? So tetracycline, azithromycin, usong-uso ngayon yan, no? And then you're familiar with clindamycin, which is the drug of choice for cellulitis. Okay. And then for competitive antagonism, sulfonamide, no? Actually, we don't use sulfonamide in dentistry. So this is good for urinary tract UTI, ang maganda ang sulfonamides. Have you heard of Bactrim? So kung UTI ka na, usually binibigay ng doctor ang sulfonamide. No? Trimotoprim clotrimaxosol, yung generic name niya. No? So, this is good for UTI. And then you have your nucleic acid, no? Metronidazole. I'm sure familiar kayo with metronidazole. Flagyl, pinaka-common na brand name ng metronidazole. No? Usually not really, not too much use in dentistry. Kasi medyo of all the different types of antibiotic, usually medyo toxic siya. Kasi nucleic acid. Medyo toxic. Medyo malaki ang ng metronidazole kasi nga ang affected is nucleic acid. 'Di ba? Yun yung problem with chemotherapeutic drugs, 'di ba? Kasi hindi naman specific yung chemotherapeutic, no? Yun yung problem with cancer. Yung nga sinasabi nila, sana pwede mong there will be a drug or no, talagang specific. Ang problema kasi yung anti-cancer drug, hindi lang yung cancer cells ang affected, pati yung normal cells. Kaya yung, di ba, naglo-lose ka ng weight, nawawala ng gana yung patient, yung hair, no? Kasi nga, hindi lang naman cancer cells ang affected. Yun ang problem. And metronidazole affects nucleic acid. And sabi nila, it does not only affect the one that causes the problem, but it can affect even normal cells. Kaya medyo toxic siya compared to the other antibiotic. Okay? Questions po? Okay, no? Another way of classifying antimicrobials, no, is the spectrum. Spectrum is the range of activity. How effective the drug is, no? Parang yan ano ka ba, broad-minded ka ba o narrow-minded ka? No? When you say it's a broad spectrum, that means it a lot of bacteria is susceptible to the drug. Pag sinabing narrow, specific. Kung gram-positive, gram-positive. Kung gram-negative, gram-negative. Pag broad kasi, mas madami. A lot more bacteria is affected by the drug. So dentistry, what's the most important broad spectrum antibiotic in dentistry? If you need a broad spectrum in dentistry, anong dapat binibigay? What's the most
Clindamycin.
recommended broad spectrum antibiotic in dentistry? Any idea?
Clindamycin.
Tetracycline. Clinda is narrow. It's tetracycline, which is very good for periodontal diseases, periodontal problem. Although ngayon it's a combination of metronidazole. Okay? So if you have a choice between broad and narrow, which is better? You did or the doctor did culture sensitivity test. Tapos madami, no? May choices. You can use a broad spectrum, you can use a narrow spectrum. What will be the first choice? What's the recommended choice? Narrow or broad? Kunyari, narrow. Better ang narrow. No? Kaya nga if you have a choice between broad and narrow, ang first choice pa rin should be narrow. Ang broad kasi, the problem with broad spectrum, no, like tetracycline, masyadong maraming affected. And most of the time, broad spectrum antibiotic has more side effect. Kasi mas maraming affected. Unlike narrow, it only targets what cause. No? Kung gram-positive, o di gram-positive lang. Ang broad spectrum kasi, even fungal, even viral, kung minsan daw pwede ang broad spectrum. So, if you have a choice between narrow and broad, narrow pa rin ang first choice. Okay? And the most important or the most recommended broad spectrum in dentistry is broad spectrum. It's tetracycline. Marami kasing broad, pero sa dentistry, preferred pa rin ang tetracycline. Okay? And then you have similarity in structure. Penicillin is similar to cephalosporin. So, ang problem here is, remember, merong cross. So, cross resistance, cross sensitivity, no? So, kung may allergic ang patient sa pen, ingat magbigay ng Ceph, no? Kasi baka you warn the patient. Hindi naman ibig sabihin mag-a-allergy. May possibility lang kasi similar sila in terms of structure. So, baka po mag-develop kayo ng allergy, pakibantayan lang po, no? And then erythromycin is similar to clindamycin. So may magkakamuka na gamot. Okay. So general adverse effect associated with antimicrobial. By the way, when we give dosage, ang recommendation is don't start with the low dose. Diba? Most antibiotic, 250, 500. Ang recommendation, don't start with 250. Ang rule kasi niyan, you start high and then taper. Kung natatakot ka na baka magkaroon ng hindi kaya ng patient, no? Although, siyempre, we have to check. We have to more or less, yung pag mukha namang pagkahina-hina ng pasyente, bibigyan mo ng, nakuha nyo, di ba? Kung minsan may give antibiotic, medyo nagda-doubt tayo, ano ba bibigay ko, 250 or 500? Baka masyadong malakas yung 500. And ang madalas dyan is you rely on your clinical judgment. Ako, I ask patient, have you taken this? No. Hindi ho eh. Kamusta ang response mo sa, how do you react to medicine? So magugulat ka, parang kaya naman pala ng 500. So, ang recommendation pa rin is you always start high. Start with the 500. Kung natatakot ka, then taper it off. No, but don't start with 250. The problem is you're not sure, lalo na kung nag-start ka ng 250, yung lower dose, di mo alam kung kulang ba yung dose mo o mali yung gamot mo. Baka it's not the right medication. Or it's the right medication but yung dose is kulang. Remember, ang objective natin when we give antibiotic is to make sure that it's controlled. Kung bibigay ka ng 250, baka naman kiniliti mo lang yung bacteria. kulang yung dose mo. So we always start high. Kaya nga palagi tayong 500, di ba? Unless merong specific o may mga special conditions na binabawasan yung dosage. But most of the time, you always start high and then taper off kung kailangan. Okay? Kaya nga may loading, may maintenance eh. Usually loading higher. Tapos meron kang maintenance, mas mababa. Just to make sure. Ang objective mo nga kasi is to make sure that you control the infection. Okay? So, one adverse effect associated with antibiotic is supra-infection. So, most of the time it's fungal. Another is allergy. Okay, no? So, penicillin is highly allergenic. And then it could be drug interaction. Problem with drug interaction, usually when you give multiple drugs, no? So, kaya nga very important that you ask for the history, drug history ng patient. Baka hindi pwedeng pagsabayin, no? Nagtitake na siya ng ganito. So, hindi advisable na mag-take ka nito kasi pwedeng magkaroon ng potentiation, pwedeng magkaroon ng additive, pwedeng magkaroon ng enzyme induction, pwedeng magkaroon ng antagonism. So, may reaction, no? And that's usually that makes, yun na in practice, di ba, kumisan, that makes it so difficult to write prescription eh. Because umiinom ng ganito. Hindi ka pwede nito. Di ba? It's good kung masabihin ng patient, ay, wala po akong iniinom. No? And I can take that. Di ba? Mas madali. Ang hirap nga kasi, especially for elderly people, ang dami ng gamot na iniinom niya. And sometimes, ang takot natin, no, is because baka magkaroon ng drug interactions. And then, of course, GIT irritation. Actually, any drug that you give oral has the possibility of producing GIT irritations. So, one way of lowering or what you call this, lessening the risk of GIT irritation is dapat may konting food inside the mouth. When you take medication, dapat may konting food. Not full ha, not heavy. For antibiotic, ang sabi nila, the most recommended time to take antibiotic is an hour, 2 hours before, an hour after meal. Most antibiotics, hindi daw yan magandang iniinom together with food. And don't drink alcohol. And yun, if you need to take antibiotic, don't drink alcohol. If you need to drink alcohol, don't take antibiotic. So, kung nag-antibiotic ka, wag mo na kayong uminom. Kasi nalilesen ng alcohol ang effect ng antibiotic. Ma'am, naririnig niyo yan sasabihin ng patient, ay, hindi ako pwedeng uminom ng minome kasi nag-antibiotic ako. Okay? So just when you kahit naman anong medicine eh, especially if it's acid, mas maganda ang acid, may konting laman ng stomach. But not heavy. Not immediately after meal. Okay? Questions po? Okay, no? So, anong possibility ng interaction? So we call it synergistic, parang potentiation. So if the combination of two antibiotic is the combination is it becomes more bactericidal, then it's called synergistic. Parang symbiotic. No? If the combination that decrease yung effectivity ng isang gamot, then it's called antagonism. Anything naman na antagonism, may decrease. Okay? Question po. Sabi, I read somewhere, no? If you combine a bacteriostatic with the bacteriostatic drug, it becomes synergistic. Pakihina yung TV. If you combine a static with ang maganda daw combination is static with static. If it's Ang maganda daw is sidal with sidal. you're going to give antibiotic, magko-combine ng gamot, the good combination is a bactericidal with a bactericidal. Nagiging synergistic. Kapag static with static, ano lang siya, additive lang. If you combine a sidal with a static, nagiging antagonism. Okay? Wait lang ha. Painaan ko lang yung TV. Bawas ng konti ng volume. Lakas. Okay. Questions? Yung daw ang ganun daw. Opo. Yes, ma'am.
Yung static plus static, ano po ulit?
Additive lang. 1 plus 1. Parang hindi, inano mo lang. No? So usually, ang maganda, sidal-sidal. Synergistic daw yon. Kapag static with static, 1 plus 1 lang, additive. Synergistic is like potentiation, nag-i-increase. There's a possibility for the increase in the effect of one drug. So, ang magandang combination is sidal-sidal. Static-static, sabi it's just additive. No? But is usually, what is usually nagiging antagonism ang effect kapag sidal with a static. Nalilesen ng bacteriostatic yung bactericidal effect ng isang gamot. Okay? Questions? Okay. Let's go to the different antimicrobials in dentistry. So still, ang drug of choice for most dental infection is penicillin. We use penicillin both for therapeutic as well as prophylactic. Siya pa rin ang drug of choice for dental infection. No? So based on the type of action, sidal, based on the mechanism of action, it's cell wall. No? Spectrum is narrow spectrum. Mas effective ang penicillin against gram-positive microorganism except the Neisseria group. No? Di ba may rule in micro, all cocci are gram-positive except the Neisseria. Tapos all bacilli are gram-negative except, may rule na ganon, di ba? Sa micro. Mas maganda ang penicillin for gram-positive microorganism. It's the drug of choice for dental infection. It's the drug of choice for prevention ng SBE. It's also the drug of choice for STD, socially transmitted diseases, no? So maganda siya for syphilis, Treponema pallidum. It's good for meningitis, for gonorrhea, no? So these are diseases which is caused by gram-negative Neisseria. Maganda ang pen sa Neisseria group. So it's still the drug of choice for most dental infection. Kasi nga, most dental infection is bacterial. So, ang magandang antibiotic for for dental infection is penicillin. Penicillin is usually sidal. Very seldom it becomes static. Sidal ang kanyang classification. No? We have different types of pen. No? You have the prototype, the oral penicillin, and then you have the penicillinase resistant, and then you have the extended spectrum. Ang problema with pen, sabi nga natin, kaya hindi siya, it's not good for Staphylococcus aureus kasi hindi siya penicillinase resistant. So it will be destroyed by penicillinase. So if the infection is caused by Staphylococcus aureus, ang pinakamagandang choice na if you still want to use penicillin, kasi ang mahal ng Clinda, pwede naman, but you choose what they call the penicillinase resistant penicillin. May group ng penicillin which is resistant. Pwede siya sa penicillinase producing microorganism. For type 1, type 2, And the last, the extended spectrum penicillin, hindi pwede sa Staphylococcus aureus. They will be destroyed by penicillinase. So kung kung gusto mo yung penicillinase na the infection is caused by penicillinase resistant or penicillinase producing microorganism, mas maganda yung third group kasi resistant sila sa penicillinase. So pag ACE, ano yan na, di ba enzyme yan? Okay. Okay, so the prototype, when you say prototype, this is the tawag dito, this is the first one, no? Ito yung original. 'Di ba pag sinabi mong prototype na robot, yun yung original na robot. No? So yun yung and actually the type of penicillin that was discovered, no, as I've said, it comes from Penicillium notatum. And ang source niyan is the blue mold. If you remember yung history ng penicillin, no? Na-discover siya ni Sir Alexander Fleming. No? Nakita niya yung tinapay, yung blue molds, no? Dun sa ano. No? So, ang magandang source ng pen is yung molds. Amag sa tinapay. No? The type of penicillin there is the PenG. It's the prototype, benzyl penicillin. And this is the best in terms of effectivity, yung efficacy. This is the best type of penicillin for sensitive microorganism. Pinakamaganda. Kaya lang, ang problem, we don't use it in dentistry kasi hindi siya stable in acid. Kasi tayo oral eh. And if PenG is used for oral, it requires very high doses, which might prove to be toxic. Kaya hindi siya preferred sa dentistry. Not preferred for oral. Maganda siya for parenteral, but not for oral. But in terms of efficacy, it's the most efficient when it comes to treating infection, sensitive infection. Okay? And they call this the mother of all penicillin, PenG. Penicillin sometimes come in USP units. So, makakakita kayo ng penicillin, no, that comes in unit, not in milligram. And ang computation daw is 1 milligram of sodium penicillin is 1667 and 1 milligram of potassium penicillin is 1595 units. If the 250 and 500 milligram will be converted to units, yung 250 milligram daw ng penicillin is equivalent to 400,000 units. So ang 500 is 800,000 units. Yun yung conversion. I don't know kung meron pa bang Megapen. If you're familiar with that brand, say I don't use penicillin anymore, so hindi ko din masyadong, but before there is a drug which is called Megapen. Mega is 1 million, kaya nga si Megastar. So, it's 1 million units. So that's roughly 625 milligrams. So may mga gamot that comes in units. And for pen, ito yung conversion niya. This is how the conversion. So 1 milligram for pen is 1667. Kapag potassium, it's 1595. More or less, yung daw 250 milligram is more or less equivalent to 400,000 units. Okay. Another is what we call the oral penicillin. No? So this is PenV. PenV is phenoxymethylpenicillin. This is the most recommended for oral administration. This is the form ng penicillin which is stable in acid. So usually preferred for dental infection. No? And between the potassium and sodium, mas maganda daw ang PenVK. Kaya nga PenVK. Penicillin V, potassium potassium the units ang tawag nun eh. Parang kaya VK siya eh. Potassium derivative siya, no? Mas maganda daw ang potassium kasi it's less ang toxicity, mas effective siya, no? So, if you're going to use PenV, mas maganda yung K, PenVK. I don't know if you've heard of Pentacillin. Ano pa ba yun? Common brand name ng PenV. Megapen, Sumapen, no? So, yan yung mga dating, although nowadays, parang hindi na masyadong gumagamit ng PenV, di ba? Mas ginagamit natin ng amoxicillin. Ako din, di ako masyadong gumagamit ng PenV. So, if I need, usually amoxicillin. Parang mas effective than PenV. Pero ang recommendation is PenV. Okay? So for oral, mas maganda ang PenV. So most antibiotic, di ba, comes in 250 and 500 milligrams every 6 hours for at least 7 days. Sabi, it takes why 7 days? It takes 2 to 3 days daw for the infection to be controlled. And it takes another 3 days para sigurado kang wala na yung infection. Kaya daw yan 7 days. Kaya kung minsan, di ba, tinatanong kayo ng patient, Doc, wala na pong hindi na po masakit. Should I continue? Kaya daw maganda ang 7 days. Kasi nga, at least mga 2 to 3 days. And kapag nagbigay kayo ng antibiotic, you wait for at least 2 to 3 days before you change the medication. Magpalit ng palit. It takes some time. May mga ganun eh. Doc, hindi pa rin po, parang wala pong effect. Ilang araw ka na ba nag-take? 1 araw pa lang po. That's too soon. You wait mga 3 days. 2 to 3 days ang recommendation. Kasi nga, it takes 2 to 3 days before you can see. And then it takes another 3 days to make sure that it's all controlled. Okay? So, huwag kayong palit ng palit. Hintayin niyo munang mag-work yung antibiotic bago kayo magpalit ng gamot. Okay? So, it's 250, 500 every 6 hours. So, it can be usually 3 times a day. No? So, in cases of more severe infection, pwede siyang 4 times a day kung round the clock ang computation. No? So, at least 3 times a day. And then, don't start with 250. You start with 500. Mas maganda pa rin. Questions. Oral penicillin and PenG are destroyed by penicillinase. Okay? So, there are specific penicillin which is resistant to penicillinase. Ito, ginagamit siya for penicillinase-producing microorganism. And you look at the names ng penicillin. Bacampicillin, oxacillin, nafcillin, pentacillin. Usually, no, based on my observation ko lang naman, kapag ang brand name may pen, usually pen yan. Amopen, Megapen, Sumapen, Pentacillin, Pensin, Penbritin. Usually mga pen yan eh. No? Tapos ang generic name ng penicillin may silin. Penicillin, cloxacillin, dicloxacillin, nafcillin, ampicillin, amoxicillin. Iba-ibang klase nga lang, pero penicillin siya. So these are the penicillin which is usually recommended for penicillinase producing kasi resistant sila. Yung 1, 2, and 4, hindi. This is the one reserved for penicillinase producing microorganism. So, cloxacillin, dicloxacillin, except for methicillin, hindi stable in acid. The rest is stable in acid. Can be given oral. Ang methicillin, usually, hindi siya stable sa gastric acid. Okay? Okay. Question, ma'am, nasan po ang amoxicillin? Ito po siya. It's extended spectrum. Ang classification niyan is extended spectrum. Hindi siya broad spectrum antibiotic. It's just an extended spectrum penicillin. Compared to the other penicillin, medyo wider in terms of spectrum. But it cannot be compared to a broad spectrum. Kapag ang tanong sa inyo, no, broad spectrum antibiotic, hindi amoxicillin, ha? Hindi siya broad spectrum antibiotic. Extended spectrum lang siyang penicillin. Wider lang in terms if compared to the other penicillin, but not comparable to the broad spectrum. Okay? So this is the, it's still penicillin, so the same, basically the same effect as pen, no? Yun nga lang, mas wider. Siguro kaya mas preferred ang amoxicillin kasi it has a wider spectrum. So that's usually the alam nyo naman to, no? Kasi alam ko favorite nyo to. So it's 250 every 8 hours. So 3 to 4 times a day depending on the severity of the symptoms. These are the other mga silin-silin. Okay. Nasaan ang co-amoxiclav? Co-amoxiclav is a combination of, combination ng amoxicillin with clavulanic acid. Clavulanic acid is a beta-lactamase inhibitor which is similar to penicillin. And supposed to be, clavulanic acid, when combined with penicillin, it synergistic siya with penicillin. Kaya siguro maganda ang co-amoxiclav. So that's the dose. No? Usong-uso ngayon ang co-amoxiclav, di ba? Not just for dental, even for medical. No? Yan, parang yan yung pinaka-uso. Ang maganda with pen, it's not too expensive. Unlike Linda. Linda kasi ang mahal. Mahal ng gamot. No? So, kaya kino-combine, no, yung amoxicillin with clavulanic acid. So it makes synergistic siya dun sa sa penicillin. Okay, ang dose is 625. Twice a day lang usually ang co-amoxiclav. Okay? So yung mga nagbigay na ng ng Augmentin, yan. Meron siyang yung clavulanic yan siya. Similar to pen. Okay. No? So, these are some of the generalization ng pen. Can be given oral, can be given parenteral, but cannot be given topical. Wala nang ointment ang pen because it's highly allergenic. And mas allergenic daw ang penicillin if you give it topical. Kaya wala nang ointment ang pen. So, kasi nga, they found out it's more allergenic to give it topically than to give it oral or parenteral. As I've said, no, as I've mentioned, penicillin is one of the safest, even safe for pregnant women. Even yung amoxicillin, no, pwede daw yan sa pregnant. So, it's quite safe. Ang pinaka-importante sa sa penicillin is allergic reaction. Very prone to produce allergic reaction. So you always ask, may allergy po ba kayo sa gamot? Okay? Pag mga ganun kasi, that makes our prescription more difficult, di ba? Unfortunately, ang daming pasyente na may allergy, may ganito. So sometimes, ang hirap magbigay ng gamot. No? Usually, no, it's not stable in acid except for pen V. So, So maganda siya, medyo nadi-destroy siya ng ano, no, ng gastric juices. Okay? So it crosses the placental barrier but no effect. Safe pa rin siya sa pregnant women. The most important organ to remember is kidney. Ako, I cannot take amoxicillin longer than 5 days. Hindi ako nakakatapos ng 7 days. Kasi nagbi-bleeding ako. So ang main, remember yung excretion, di ba? You have tubular secretion, filtration, reabsorption, and the kidney excrete penicillin through active secretion as well as glomerular filtration. Hindi siya nare-reabsorb. So 90% excreted through tubular secretion and 10% through glomerular filtration. So kidney ang pinaka important, or more or less kidney ang may problem, magkakaroon ng possibility ng problem for penicillin. Dalawa naman yan di ba? Kidney and liver. So kidney siya. And then it's the one preferred for dental infection, and it's also the one for to prevent SBE. Penicillin maganda to sa soft tissue infection. Di siya maganda for bone infection. So it's the drug of choice for treponema, the drug of choice for meningitis, the drug of choice for dental infection. No? So, madami siyang drug of choice. And by the way, maganda daw ang pen to be given during the early stages ng infection because penicillin is cell wall, no? So yung mga young bacteria, para hindi pa siya nakaka-form, para the bacteria has not yet formed a cell wall. Mas effective siya kung the bacteria has not yet formed a cell wall. Nakita niyo yung commercial ng Celine? 'Di ba yung Celine nilalagyan ng anong tawag, helmet yung bata para mas resistant siya. So ganun din daw ang bacteria. No, kapag nag-form na, once the bacteria has formed a cell wall, mas mahirap na kasi mas protected na yung cell. So mas maganda ang pen to be given before the bacteria has time to develop a cell wall. Mas effective ang penicillin. Okay, questions po so far? So these are the drugs which has the possibility of increasing, no? Synergistic siya dun sa effect ng penicillin. Okay, so probenecid ginagamit to for gout, no? Salicylate is aspirin, and then sulfonamide, it's another antimicrobial which is used for urinary tract infections. Okay, so when is bacterial endocarditis a risk? So ano daw yung cases, no, wherein you need to give prophylactic kapag may mga pacemaker, no, yung sa heart. And yung mga RHD, rheumatic heart disease. So, pag may history ng rheumatic heart disease, any procedure which can cause bleeding is a risk na magkaroon ng SBE. You know, even as simple as what you call this, prophylaxis, scaling and policing, di ba? Kasi may bleeding eh. So, ang recommendation is any procedure that might cause bleeding. Nagiging risk daw ang patient ng SBE. So, this is the standard regimen. So for penicillin, it's 2 grams orally an hour before, then 1 gram 6 hours later. So this is the standard kapag ang patient can take penicillin. Okay. Okay. So what if the patient is allergic to penicillin? What's the recommended? It's erythromycin. Actually, in terms of allergy, the most recommended antibiotic, the most recommended substitute for patient allergic to penicillin is erythromycin. So in cases of may allergy ang patient sa penicillin, ang recommended is erythromycin. 1 gram an hour before, then 500 milligrams 6 hours later. Pareho lang, yun lang, iba yung dose. For penicillin, di ba, it's 2 grams. For erythromycin, it's 1 gram. This is the standard regimen. Okay, question about penicillin. So, these are some of the drugs that is used to prevent SBE. So, penicillin, erythromycin, pwede rin ang amoxicillin, pero it's 3 grams. Iba lang yung dosage. Pwede ang vancomycin, gentamicin, pero not, kasi hindi siya pwede oral eh. So, yung mga drugs to prevent SBE that can be given orally is pen, erythro, and amoxicillin. Okay, questions about penicillin? Penicillin is still the drug of choice for dental infection. So kung may choice kayo, you need antibiotic and the first choice is penicillin ang first choice. The most recommended drug substitute for patient allergic to pen is erythro. So, hindi na recommended ang Clinda to prevent SBE. Kasi I saw a board exam question. So may choice na Clinda. Hindi na ginagamit ang Clinda. Kasi nga too toxic. Okay? Questions? So it's still pen, erythro, and amoxicillin. Question about pen. About amoxicillin. So amoxicillin is similar to pen, ha? So kung allergic, may tawag dito, hindi naman siya toxic kasi nga ano. So basically the same, no? Ang penicillin sa amoxicillin. Okay, so let's go to another group of drug. They are called macrolide antibiotic. So usually ang macrolide, these are large organic-based antibiotic. Ibang group naman siya. So another group of antibiotic are called macrolide antibiotic. This mga mycin naman sila. Ang mga penicillin may mycillin. Sila mycin. Erythro, clarithro, azithromycin, and you have clindamycin. So kung may kamukha ang clinda, it's erythro. Okay? They are classified as macrolide antibiotic. Okay, so erythromycin, no, comes from the bacteria Streptomyces erythraeus. No? Ang magandang source daw nito is yung molds sa rocks. So it's static, but in higher dosage, it becomes cidal. Mostly, siguro kaya it's not as effective as penicillin or amoxicillin kasi ano siya cidal lang siya madalas. unless you give it in higher dosage. But one of the safest antibiotic is erythromycin. Non-toxic, non-allergenic. Liver is the most important organ to remember sa erythromycin. Kung may madadamage, it's the liver. Penicillin is the kidney. Ang erythro, liver. Okay? Protein synthesis, 50S subunits. Di ba merong 30, merong 50. And most narrow spectrum antibiotic, pag protein synthesis, tapos narrow yung antibiotic, usually 50. Pag broad spectrum, usually 30. Pero mas madaling magtanda, no? So, pag protein synthesis ang mechanism of action, tapos narrow spectrum yung antibiotic, usually ang kanyang subunit is 50. Tapos kapag ang tetracycline is 30. Pag broad spectrum yung antibiotic na gamot, tapos ang kanyang subunit is 30. With exceptions. So it's protein synthesis, narrow, similar to pen. So mas maganda rin siya for gram positive infection. It's the drug of choice for most Legionnaire's disease. No? Legionnaire's disease is a severe form of respiratory infection. Okay, so maganda siya for respiratory tract infections. Yung erythromycin, no? Can be used as a best substitute for patient allergic to penicillin. Has the same spectrum. We have different kinds of erythro. So base, no. So if the clinician wants an erythromycin for adult, the best is erythromycin base. Yun ang pinaka. Di ba pag penicillin ka, penicillin VK. Pag amoxicillin, amoxicillin HCl. Pag erythromycin, pag adult ang patient, ang most recommended is the base, erythromycin base. And then for children, the type ng erythromycin for children is ethyl succinate. Kung gusto mo ng kompletong prescription. No? So for children, the most recommended erythromycin for children is ethyl succinate. The form ng erythromycin which causes a lot of adverse reaction is estolate. Wala na yatang estolate. Kasi nga, it has so many side effects. So it's the more toxic erythromycin is the estolate. Okay? Questions po so far? These are the forms ng erythromycin which can be given oral. Actually, madami. Kaya lang most of it has to be in enteric coated. Hindi siya good for oral. The type of erythromycin which is good for oral administration, ito. So, erythromycin base, no? And sabi ko nga, di ba, isa one example ng drug which is usually destroyed by the gas, or it's usually put in enteric coated preparation kasi mas maganda ang absorption niya sa intestine rather than sa stomach. It's erythromycin. So you have the base, no? Ito yung mga available for oral, ethyl succinate. So base is for adult, ethyl succinate is usually recommended for children. So these are the information about erythro. So best patient, best substitute for patient allergic to pen. Okay. So liver, ang precaution, no? Most common side effect associated with erythromycin is cholestatic jaundice. Di ba pag jaundice, liver? So it's cholestatic jaundice. Usually cholestatic jaundice only develops kapag 21 days of taking erythro, which is not a problem sa dentistry. Kasi when we give antibiotic hanggang 7 days lang naman tayo eh. So kaya nga relatively very safe ang erythromycin for for dentistry kasi we don't normally take antibiotic for longer than 7 days. Cholestatic jaundice is a form of allergic reaction to erythromycin. Erythro is non-toxic, non-allergenic. Kaya nga safest siya. Pero one possible allergic reaction to erythro is cholestatic jaundice. Now, this is a form of allergic reaction. Kaya lang usually it occurs 21 days after taking 21 days of taking the antibiotic, which is not a problem in dentistry. Hindi natin problema yan, no? Dose is similar to pen. 250, 500 milligrams every 4 to 6 hours. Twice, 3 times. No? The most is 4 times a day. Okay? Depending on the severity of the symptoms. Usually, di ba, when we give antibiotic, 3 times a day. Twice or 3 times a day. Okay? Questions ba? Drug of choice for Legionnaire's disease, no? Drug of choice for diphtheria, which wala naman tayong diphtheria. So, also for pertussis, no? Yung whooping cough. Have you heard of whooping cough? No? So, hindi na rin masyado no? Ang whooping cough. So, yan ang drug of choice ng erythro. Okay. So, third drug which we use in dentistry is Clinda. So, wala nang lincomycin. Pero dati merong lincomycin. Another form ng clindamycin is lincomycin, pero phase out na ang linco. Mas compared to Clinda kasi ang lincomycin is usually more toxic daw yan. So, wala nang linco. Clinda na lang. So, this is the bacteria. No? Streptococcus lincolnensis. Anyway, so it's just like erythro, it could be static, but in high doses can become cidal, narrow spectrum, protein synthesis, no? So it's narrow spectrum protein synthesis, 50S subunit. One very good characteristic ng Clinda, it has the ability to penetrate bone infection. Kaya nga siguro maganda siya for osteobone, inflammation of the bone, osteomyelitis of the alveolar bone. So, kaya siguro siya recommended for Staphylococcus aureus for cellulitis, which is a severe form of dental infection. Severe form of infection is cellulitis. So, severe form ng dental infection, it's usually cellulitis. And usually ang Clinda ginagamit ako ginagamit ko lang ang Clinda kapag cellulitis. Kasi it's very expensive. So, maganda siya for bone infection. So, osteomyelitis of the alveolar bone. Maganda ang Clinda. So, similar to erythro. Adverse effect is PMC, pseudomembranous colitis. It's a severe form of diarrhea. Usually, even yung mga mycin, even erythro, usually it's gastrointestinal ang problem. Especially for Clinda, magko-complain ng pasyente niya parang nagdadiarrhea. Tapos yellowish yung stool ng patient. So, that's pseudomembranous colitis, PMC. It's a usual adverse reaction associated with Clinda. Dosage, you're familiar with the dosage. Common brand name ng clindamycin is Dalacin C. So, it's 150 to 300 milligrams, say, every 4 hours. So, pen, erythro, 500, 250, 500. Clindamycin is 150, 300. Okay? Okay, no? Ano lang 'to, no? Actually, baka lang, nice to know lang kasi usong-usong azithromycin ngayon.
Doc,
Hindi
excuse me.
Apo.
Question po, di ba ang drug of choice po natin for cellulitis would be clindamycin?
Linda. Yes.
Paano po pag nagkaroon ng pseudomembranous colitis si patient? Ano po yung exchange or ipapalit natin?
Usually, ano naman yan yung side effect niya, it's, ano, ang tawag dito, hindi siya permanent. So, stopping the drug will actually stop the side effect. Drug-related naman siya, no? So, pag ganon, sabihin mo lang talagang that's expected. Pwedeng, pag hindi ka na umiinom, no? Wala ka nang, hindi na yan magmamanifest. Most of the time, if the side effect is nawawala din naman yan kapag hindi na umiinom ng gamot. So, I've not experienced naman na na nagko-complain pa yung patient ng diarrhea after taking the medicine. Ano siya naman siya, drug-related naman siya. Okay? So, you don't really have to do anything. Basta yun lang, expected mo na talagang ganun yung effect. No? So, you warn the patient. Baka po medyo may diarrhea kayo ng konti. So, pag ganun, no, ang problem naman with diarrhea is it's usually dehydration. You drink plenty of water or maganda daw ang Gatorade, although mas maganda daw ang Pocari Sweat to replenish yung tawag dito, yung water. Actually, ang diarrhea, it's not, you don't really have to treat ang diarrhea, di ba? Mas maganda nga lumalabas yung toxin. Ang importante lang is you don't allow the patient to become dehydrated. Kaya tubig, no? Buti nga nilalabas. Okay? Did I answer your question?
Yes po, thank you.
Okay. So pag gano'n na na nagtatakot yung patient, no? Di mag-drug related 'yan. So inom ka lang muna ng sabi nung yung nurse na mas maganda daw ang Pocari Sweat. Mas maganda in terms of kasi less ang sugar. Ang Gatorade daw is taas kasi ang sugar ng Gatorade. Pati Gatorade, maganda ang Gatorade actually pag to prevent dehydration. Kaya nga yung mga athletes, di ba, umiinom ng Gatorade kasi it restores yung acid base, yung water, na kaya lang mas maganda ang Gatorade kung active. Kung ano lang, no, yung usual, hindi naman athlete yung patient, mas maganda daw ang Pocari Sweat kasi walang masyadong sugar. And at the same time, it restore yung water balance. So kapag pag nagda-diarrhea kayo, masama hindi na masama, hindi advisable na iniinuman yan ng yung Diatabs, na ano pa yung ginagamit niya, Lomotil, na hindi siya actually maganda. Especially kapag ang diarrhea is caused by yung food na kinain mo, no, nagda-diarrhea ka. Dapat nga ilabas mo yung toxin. Ang lang diyan is you prevent dehydration. Kasi pag pupo ka ng pupo, siyempre yung water mo na-deplete, and most of the side effect associated with diarrhea is because of dehydration. Water is good, no? And mas maganda yung mga ganon, no? Kasi nga may ions or may mga anong tawag nila dyan, no? So mas maganda siya for that. Hindi maganda yung i-stop mo yung diarrhea kasi hindi mo pinalalabas yung toxin. Okay? Okay na tayo? Hello po. Okay na.
Yes po, thank you po.
Sige po. No? So, usually azithromycin, di ba, maganda to for yung cough, no? Yung sa tawag dyan. So, not really for dentistry. Sinama ko lang siya kasi nga Very common ang azithromycin. Usually for respiratory infections. Pero in terms of dental infection, maganda pa rin ang erythro rather than azithro. Maganda siya for respiratory infections. Pero pareho silang macrolide. Mga mycin, usually macrolide yan. Okay. So what's the third choice? So pen, erythro, no? Liver ha, ang erythro it's liver, even although ang Clinda hindi masyado sa liver, yun nga PMC ang madalas na sinasabi nilang diarrhea ang madalas na problem with clindamycin, no? So anong third choice mo? Usually ang third recommended choice is tetra. So sabi nga, kapag if you need broad spectrum in dentistry, the best drug to use is tetracycline. Yan yung tatlong importante sa atin. Pen, erythro, tetra. And then yung Clinda, no, usually for Staphylococcus aureus. Or pwede rin pala, you can probably, pag ganon, no, you use the penicillinase resistant penicillin. Kung walang allergy ha. Kung talagang ayaw niya ng Clinda, pwede yung mga cloxacillin, dicloxacillin, no? Yun lang allergy naman ang problema mo. Ang Clinda kasi hindi siya allergenic eh. So, okay? So, in the third choice or fourth choice, no? So, tetracycline, if you need broad spectrum sa dentistry, the most common broad spectrum in dentistry is tetracycline. It's static. It cannot become cidal. It's always static. It's protein synthesis, kaya lang it's 30S subunit. It's broad spectrum. Sabi nga nila, pati nga daw sa fungal infection, pwede ang tetra. No? Hindi, sa viral infection, pwede daw ang tetra. Kasi nga, broad ang spectrum. Kaya lang ang problem, mga very prone to produce fungal infections. So, we have different types of tetracycline. Pansinin nyo, oxy, tetra, doxycycline, minocycline, metacycline, democycline, ang pen-mycilline, ang mycin macrolide, ang mycilline tetracycline. Tetracycline is wala siyang similarity. 'Di ba ang magkamukha pen and ceph, erythro and Clinda. Tetracycline is tetracycline. Wala siyang kamukha. It's chemically is not related to other antibiotic. So, ang difference ng mga different types ng tetracycline is the dosage. Kakaiba sila ng dosage. So, if you need broad spectrum, the best broad spectrum is tetra. Okay. No? Usually, tetracycline, very good ang tetracycline for yung ang dami kong kilalang derma, gustong-gusto nila ang tetra for acne. So madalas, makikita mo yung patient pag may acne, binibigay ng derma is tetra. No? Usually, tetracycline is given by mouth. No? Masakit daw kasi ito pag binigay parenteral. Thick yata yung liquid niya, yung kanyang solution. So, masakit kapag binigay parenteral. So, most of the time, ang tetracycline is given by mouth. And what causes the tetracycline stain? As I've explained that, tetracycline has a tendency to get stored in the dentine and the enamel of unerupted permanent tooth. Kasi that's the time that the enamel of the permanent teeth are developing. No? So, sumasama siya in the development of the enamel and dentine. Kaya nagkakaroon ng intrinsic stain. So, bakit although ngayon, sabi nila it's metronidazole daw, no? Pero in combination ngayon ang drug of choice for perio. Pero sinasabi noon, no, it's tetracycline. Kasi if there's an antibiotic which has a tendency to concentrate in the gingival clavicular fluid, it's tetra. Ako, I use tetra yung pang-irrigate pag may perio. Dinidissolve ko yung tetracycline dun sa distilled water and I use that to irrigate. I like tetracycline for period. Pero sabi ngayon, ang trend ngayon yata, it's metronidazole. But before, or based dun sa pharma, no, siguro it's sa perio, iba yung sa perio eh. No, iba yung recommended sa perio. So, but for pharma, ang recommended nila is for for periodontal diseases. Kasi nga, siguro because tetracycline has a tendency to get stored in the gingival fluid, clavicular fluid. Nasabi nila it's the drug of choice for periodontal diseases. Although ang periodontal diseases naman, di ba alam naman natin, ang best management is scaling and polishing. Alisin mo yung plaque. But if you need antibiotic, before, ang recommendation is this, tetra. Although may conflict with perio. Si metronidazole sa perio. Okay? In the case of tetra, it's actually nadi-decrease, no, ang absorption ng tetracycline if you combine it with food, no, with high calcium content, aluminum, iron, no. So dapat hindi sinasabay. If you have to drink milk, which is calcium, dapat ang recommendation is 1.5 hours before taking tetracycline. Hindi dapat sabay. So if okay naman, no problem with if you have to eat or you have to drink milk, wag lang sabay. So you wait if you have to take milk, you have to take food which is rich in calcium, aluminum, or iron. Ang recommendation is you take 1.5 hours before or after taking the tetracycline. Wag lang sabay. Pwede naman, wag lang sabay. Okay, no? So, why is broad spectrum usually not recommended? Kasi ang daming side effect. So, we mentioned about GIT, no? Anything that you give oral, pwede siyang it could be hepatotoxic, can damage the liver. Usually, it can damage the kidney, tapos may effect on the bones and the teeth. Okay? And, by the way, wala nang pediatric tetra, not recommended for children. Wala na siyang because of its effect on the bones. I had a friend, she died of aplastic anemia. Hindi nagde-develop ng red blood cells ang bone. Kaya hindi recommended ang tetracycline for children. It interferes with bone development. Alam naman natin, di ba, ang RBC comes from the bone marrow. So, nare-retard daw yung growth ng bone, ng RBC. So, hindi nakaka-replenish she died when she was 21. Pero when hindi ko ito makalimutan eh. When I talked to the father during the wake of nung aming friend, sabi niya, palagi daw binibigyan ng tetracycline. I don't know if it's true. Medyo delikado siya for children. So, wala nang tetracycline. And another thing to remember about tetracycline is, damaging siya sa kidney, especially if you use outdated. Yung mga expired na, no, even a month before expiry, tapon yun na. Unlike most medicines, di ba, kung expired siya, okay lang, wala lang effect. Doesn't have any effect. Pero kung nakainom ka, sabihin sa'yo, okay lang yan, no? Hindi lang siya mag-i-effect kasi expired na siya. But not with tetra. ang recommendation nga, even if it's a month before expiry, don't use it anymore. Kasi very prone to produce renal toxicity, and that's called Fanconi syndrome. This is associated with outdated or near expiry na tetra. Very toxic. Okay? And causes photosensitivity. Nagre-react kasi ang tetracycline sa light. So, sasabihin, usually ang mga derma, i-advise sa'yo, don't do sunbathing, don't expose yourself to sunlight pag nagtetetra ka. Kasi siya, photosensitive siya. You know, one use ng tetra for diagnosis, ginagamit daw nila to check kung may mga growth ka, especially on the GIT. Iinumin ka ng tetra, tapos isa-scan, no? Kasi nag-i-emit daw to ng light, ng yellow light. So kung meron kang mga growth, no? I don't know if it's true, no? Pero that's what I've read. It's very good diagnostic for mga growth in the GIT. Kasi pag may mga developing, kasi nga di ba ang tetracycline has the affinity, meron siyang affinity with growing tissues. So kung may mga growth ka daw, no, maganda ang tetracycline kasi makikita mo yung magsustore yung tetracycline on that area, on that tissue. Tapos tapos nagre-react siya sa light. So nakikita siya sa light pag in-scan siya. I don't know if it's still if it's true, no? Pero yun yung nabasa ko. Pero it's true, no? Pag nagtetetra kayo, huwag kayong nag-expose to sunlight kasi very prone to sunburn. Very photosensitive siya. No? And very prone to produce supra-infection. No? And most supra-infection associated with tetra is candidiasis or thrush mouth. Okay? So, madaming side effect ang tetra. So those depends on the type of tetracycline. Alam ko si Doc, hindi ko lang alam kung dinidiscuss pa ni Doc Rason yung trimix system. Hindi na yata niya dinidiscuss, no? Yung tawag niya doon, LSTR. Have you heard of LSTR? Lesion sterilization tissue repair. Dati dinidiscuss siya ni alam ko dinidiscuss ni Doc Rason yan . Gusto din kasi niya yung LSTR. Not heard of yung trimix MP system, di niya pa narinig yun. Oh, never mind. So, okay, no? So, depende yan sa depende yan sa type ng tetracycline, no, that you use. Ang dosage depends on the tetracycline that you use. So this is an example na 12, hindi siya once, hindi siya 3 times a day. Usually twice a day lang to talaga. Okay? Questions po? Okay. Tapusin ko lang si cephalosporin. Okay. So the fourth, no? So ang recommendation kasi, no? So based on the pharma side, ang first choice natin for dental infection is pen. Kung allergic ang patient sa pen, you use erythro. So ang third choice is you have a choice between a broad spectrum or a narrow spectrum. So, kung gusto mo ng broad spectrum, tetracycline. Kung gusto mo ng narrow spectrum, cephalosporin. So, this is usually the third choice in terms of dental infection. Yun lang babantayan nyo nga is cross. Kaya nga hindi siya drug of choice kasi may cross, no? So, mechanism of action, spectrum similar to pen, kidney ang problem. Bawal na bawal sa may kidney problem. Okay? And normally you'd if ang tanong dito, usually ang tanong sa board exams when it comes to cephalosporin is, no, this, it comes in generation. Di ba ang pen comes in oral, prototype, extended spectrum. Ang erythro comes in base, ethylsuccinate. Ang cephalosporin comes in generation. First generation, second generation, third generation. Ganyan ang classification ng Ceph in generation. For dentistry, what is recommended is the first generation. So, may nakita akong board exam question ang tanong doon. First generation cephalosporin, which is recommended for dentistry. So it comes in generation. Yun nga, no, ang tanong, isa pang tanong na nakita ko, it's antibiotic, which comes in generation. So it's cephalosporin. Sa dentistry, ang recommended is the first generation. Hindi naman siya ganun kasi hindi naman natin ito masyadong ginagamit sa dentistry. Very seldom do we use cephalosporin in dentistry. Maganda pa rin ang penicillin. So this the dosage is the same as pen, 250 to 500. Okay. Mamaya na yung other antimicrobial. So same as pen. Kidney, ang pinaka-importante. Yan. Same. Okay. Cell wall, same spectrum, gram positive. Okay, sige, it's 10:15. Let's take a break. Gusto niyo mag-break? Hello?
Opo.
Sige, so let's see each other 10:30. So just take a short break, no? Para medyo makapahinga ng konti.